From falling and face-planting into some muddy cow dung to the time Timothée Chalamet thought she loves to eat snails. These are Florence Pugh's most embarrassing off-screen moments. First off, let me tell you about the time Flossie Rose face-planted into some mud. Florence had quite the adventure while filming The Wonder. It was a thriller shot in Ireland, and let me tell you, the weather there is crazy. Florence experienced all 4 seasons in a single day. She had to wear the same outfit throughout the whole film. The real challenge came from her animal co-stars. While filming in the mountains, Miss Flo was walking with a horse, and out of nowhere, the horse decided it had enough and refused to budge. For the scene, Florence had to walk across the road, but a stubborn sheep wouldn't get out of her way. She tried giving it a little pat on the back, and the sheep went crazy. It made a weird noise, and another sheep joined the party, causing a collision with Florence. She flipped over the sheep and landed in a pile of cow dung. The 27-year-old even said, "It was like full-on mud. It was great. It was a hilarious full-on mud disaster." To make matters even more entertaining, over 50 locals witnessed Florence's little fumble. Florence even joked that her faceplant was inspired by the glamour of the show Beverly Hills. It's good to see that she can joke about it. If it were me, I would have hid my face right there in the mud out of pure embarrassment. Speaking of hiding, did you hear about how Miss Flo hid from Olivia Wilde at the Don't Worry Darling premiere? During the 4-minute standing ovation for the movie, Florence Pugh avoided making eye contact with Olivia Wilde. Talk about an uncomfortable moment. Lucky for us, Ramin Satuda, the co-editor-in-chief of Variety, captured the whole thing on video and shared it on Twitter. He captioned it with a hint of drama, saying, "Florence Pugh refuses to make eye contact with Olivia Wilde during the 4-minute hashtag Venezia79 standing ovation for hashtag Don't Worry Darling." If you're not up to speed on the whole Don't Worry Darling drama, Pugh and Shia LaBeouf have some beef. And that's why he didn't continue working on the film. Wilde claimed she let him go because he was making Pugh feel uneasy. But LaBeouf has a different story. He insists he actually quit. He spilled the beans that Wilde warned him about staying, saying it would be a wake-up call for Miss Flo. The premiere was the first time Florence and Olivia were seen together since the leaked phone call. No wonder the vibes in that video were off. It was like watching a real-life soap opera unfold. But you can't deny that the 27-year-old's got guts, and some people just can't stand that. It's like when Flossie Rose wore that pink Valentino gown that some said was an embarrassing look. She rocked a daring, see-through pink Valentino gown at the Valentino Haute Couture show in Rome. She shared some fab pics of herself in the dress on Instagram, playfully captioning it with, "Technically they're covered?" A cheeky hint to her visible nipples. But as it goes in the world of social media, there were haters who couldn't resist spreading negativity. The dress stirred up a storm of backlash online. But what really got her were the vulgar comments from some men who felt the need to aggressively point out her tiny tits and make her feel embarrassed for being flat-chested. This eventually led Pugh to address all the negativity head-on in a follow-up post. She talked about the ease with which men can publicly and proudly tear down a woman's body, and she wasn't having any of it. In her response, she said this wasn't the first time a woman faced criticism about her body from a total stranger. She embraced her body and questioned why these dudes were so scared of breasts in general, no matter their size or shape. Seriously, what's so terrifying about them? She then delved into her own upbringing, explaining how she was taught to find power in every crease and curve of her body. The Hawkeye actress handled the situation with grace, strength, and a healthy dose of sass. Her fans and fellow celebs couldn't be prouder of her for shutting down those body shamers. Pugh's powerful response to the criticism ignited a wave of support on social media. Fans rallied behind her, praising her for how she handled the situation. One shared a screenshot of her Instagram response, tweeting, "Exactly Florence Pugh," and another expressed their love for her, saying Florence Pugh's latest post about her Valentino look and free the nipple is everything. Supportive comments flooded the post, with fans thanking Florence for speaking out. One person commended her for her bravery, while another expressed gratitude for her use of her platform. Fellow celebrities also joined in praising her, including Jamila Jamil, Joey King, Stephanie Shepard, Aubrey Plaza, and Reggae Jean Page. Jamil called Florence a magical queen, while King acknowledged her amazingness and ability to say what many feel. Shepard and Plaza thanked her for speaking up, and Paige defended her publicly on his Instagram stories. The Bridgerton actor emphasized the importance of men holding each other accountable and taking responsibility. It's amazing how Miss Flo's speaking up inspired so many. She's bold and beautiful, and lucky for us, you can see a lot more of that on her social media. When she's not busy stealing our hearts as Amy in Little Women, or totally wrecking us emotionally as Dany in Midsommar, Flossie Rose is crushing her social media game. Seriously, she's got a whopping 1.2 million followers, and she knows how to keep them hooked. Every photo she shares is accompanied by a caption that proves she's as real as it gets. If you haven't jumped on the Florence following bandwagon yet, just take a peek at the awesome gallery and prepare to be convinced. When it comes to her IG posts, she's not afraid to make funny faces and show her silly side. She captioned one photo with Amy and Fred before Laurie turned up drunk, with a really goofy face, giving us a glimpse into her playful spirit. But it's not just her facial expressions that make her stand out. Florence is a major advocate for neck pillows, and she's not shy about it. And let's not forget about her love for ice cream. She takes it to the next level by eating it straight from the container. But her ice cream obsession doesn't stop there. She even shares her homemade ice cream adventures in her stories. Talk about dedication. But it's not all lightheartedness and goofiness. Florence knows how to take us on an emotional roller coaster too. She once shared the journey of caring for her cactus, Barry, through her Instagram stories. Yes, she has a name for her cactus. It was a wild ride filled with ups and downs, and she had us invested in every prickly moment. She's a true entertainer in every sense. Do you remember when Florence Pugh proudly showed off the marmalade she made? It was beyond adorable. And to make it even sweeter, Paddington himself got excited about Flo's marmalade, which made Flo even more excited. It was a wholesome exchange of marmalade love. But wait, there's more. Florence happened to walk by a Halloween costume display for Black Widow, and couldn't help but notice that Yelena, her character, wasn't included in the lineup. She took to Instagram with a post captioned, "Apparently, Yelena didn't make the cut, guys." Florence's post was a perfect blend of humor and advocacy for her character, and she had to point out her love for Pockets along the way. These moments showcase Pugh's adorable life, and that no matter how many embarrassing moments she has, no one can make her feel awkward about them. You still don't believe me? Let's just relive that hilarious encounter between Miss Flo and Timothée Chalamet for a sec. Picture this. The two are having a casual interaction, probably sharing tidbits about themselves, and then Florence reveals her love for snails. Now, you might expect a typical response like, "Oh, that's interesting," or "Tell me more about that." But no, not with Timothy. He playfully suggested that Florence might actually enjoy eating snails too. Cue Miss Flo's epic freakout. She couldn't believe what she was hearing. The thought of devouring her beloved snails seemed absolutely crazy to her. Her reaction was a mix of shock, disbelief, and total horror. Who knew snails could spark such a hilarious conversation? It's moments like these that remind us that celebs have embarrassing moments. And if we can learn anything from Miss Flo, it is that you can always laugh it off. So, there you have it. From the Dune actor thinking she enjoys chomping on snails, to a fumble with some sheep leading to a mud disaster. These were Florence Pugh's most embarrassing off-screen moments.